George Morgan here and Jack Pinat. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go!
Contact between the Mercedes teammates.
Denoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass with the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to PSGL Season 38, Round 2 for Formula 2 at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. We are here for our first season in F2. I'm, of course, Alex Heron, also known as Devlink, and I'm joined by Tom Knight. I pointed the wrong way. Tom Knight, also known as They Call Me TK. Tom, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well. It's still very weird to hear people call me by my proper name, but we're going to roll with it from now on. I mean, feel free to call me TK in the chat because that is what a lot of people are still used to. But as you said, first season for us up in the mighty highs of F2, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so my AFC, we weren't here last week. Thank you, Sappy and Omi for stepping in for us last week for the round one, which is a shame because it is TK's favourite circuit. The Albert Park in Australia, but we did miss a banger of a race. I don't know if we have some standings to go and have a look at to see.
We do.
So, happened last week. Of course, the man top of the timesheet is Toppy, we believe, with 16 points with a win at Australia. It was a Williams 1-2 with Nelson finishing in second, and then Mr. Angelo, who we of course know from F3 season last year, finishing in third place. So that was the top three. And Williams 1-2 to start off the season. But technically, a Mercedes 1-4 because they were all using Mercedes engine in the top four.
Very much so. It's a good outing so far for the Mercedes power engines, and actually a fantastic result for both the Williams and the Mercedes team. Luca Ripper, of course. Ripassa. I have already pronounced one name wrong. Just get used to that for the rest of the season, making his first jump over to PC after, well, I want to say dominating the PlayStation scene.
Very much so, very much so. And of course, we are very much looking forward to having this season in F2. We really enjoyed F3 last year, and we've almost got a full grid today as well, another full grid.
Yeah, we do indeed. And speaking of grids, let's go across and have a look at our driver lineups. There we go. You can hear us once again. So if you weren't here last week and it is your first time tuning in, welcome to the land where me and Deathlink, also known as Alex Heron, cannot pronounce names. Some easy ones at the Alpine: Liam Stevens and Sixten Lintart. It's Jan and Rishan that stand in the Aston Martin. Camille and Daniel in the Ferraris. The Haas team is made up of Harvey Cohen and Riccardo Benzoni. Kick is Sergio and Max. McLaren, Seisman and Ben Marples. Mercedes is Angelo and Lucas Rapassa. Kian and Gregory in the Red Bull Racing. Leo Lund and Felipe Souza in the V-Carbs and Tope. And Nace, almost was so close with it.
Almost.
Nelson Alvarez in the Williams.
I mean, that's a strong lineup to see every one of those teams. I mean, the amount of quality from, From Williams to Ferrari to everyone is just incredible. And of course, something we should mention as well, we are back to using the normal Formula One cars. No more F1 World cars, so we'll be able to tell who's driving for which teams, and it'll just be nicer on the eye as well for all of our viewers. And we have 20 drivers in the grid this afternoon. Everyone is here, everyone is ready to race, and we are actually preparing to go out for our short qualifying session.
We certainly are indeed. And, well, very quickly before we head over, of course, this is round number 2. We are in Texas. Everyone will have seen it at the weekend, some in very different places to usual. But before we do so, let's go ahead and watch the track map that we have for today's endeavors. Welcome to Austin, Texas in the USA. 3.425 miles, 20 turns and 2 DRS zones is what makes up our driver's track for this afternoon. Turn number 1, aka Big Red, is a heavy braking zone. Our drivers will have to try and navigate as calmly as they possibly can.
One of the best turn ones in Formula One. I'm going to say it right
Possibly.
now. It's such a fantastic circuit designed by our good friend Helmut Tilke. He literally moved the earth around him to create that circuit, and I think he's made a pretty good one. So we're going to go right now into short qualifying, our first short qualifying of F2 this season.
Well, our first short qualifying actually with the normal cars on. I can't wait to see the liveries. That is what I'm so looking forward to. It's been a while since we've seen it before, and it's been a while, especially in PSGL, since we've seen it. But the decision has been made from the higher ups. The cars have been determined as equal through rigorous testing. We'll make no further comment about that on this stream. And I believe the tiers were given a choice as to whether to use them or not. F2 decided to stick with them. We're very, very thankful they did, because if we just wait one moment, let's switch across to our game scene, ladies and gentlemen. If I can find the button. I've lost it on my stream deck. There we go. Let's go.
We're in the pit lane with 20 drivers ready to come out. It looks like a very overcast circuit of the Americas here. Now you'll see the cars still in ghost mode. Of course, we are still unfortunately having to run the cars without collisions on in qualifying due to the power of the slipstream. And I assume we'll have a lobby restart when we get into the full race.
That is my still understanding. Yep, it is going to be a ghosted qualifying session still, and then lobby restart. Pretty much as we're accustomed to here in PSGL. We'll have that 5 minutes, hopefully not too long, to have a little bit of discussion. Maybe hear some more from our partners as well, and then we will go ready to race.
And Tope out first here in the Williams. Of course, wants to get that lap time on the board. Getting a banker lap on the board is very important. Of course, unlike in real qualifying, there is no Q1, Q2, Q3. Ignore what it says there. This is the only qualifying session of this race. And starting from pole position, you actually told me a very interesting fact, TK, about pole position.
Did I?
You did. You may not remember it. You were saying about the win rate for the front row is very high around here.
Oh, I did remember this. So, looking back over the last however many seasons we've raced here at COTA, we're talking real life facts here, not necessarily esports, but the driver from P1 has won as many times as the driver starting in P2. Both of them have won a total of 5 times.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it didn't happen in real life on last weekend, but let's see if they can recreate it here in COTA. Now, Tope about to go for his first lap here, DK. Take us through the first lap on board in Formula 2.
Well, F2, first time for us, and it is up towards turn number 1 of Big Red here for Tope in the Williams, securing some good points last time out, and they'll be looking to make a very similar endeavour this time as well. 15.5 minutes left on our qualifying clock, and some of the most tricky corners in Formula 1 are about to come Tope's way. They've got a quick left-right as well. We have been told game audio is slightly too loud, so we'll just I'll turn that down once we're out of qualifying. We'll figure that out in the background. Do not worry, folks. Through the turns, through 8 and 9, and down towards turn number 10, down towards the hairpin. And this is going to be a corner our drivers had to be crucially correct at.
They certainly will. It's a very tricky braking zone. You've got to get it absolutely right before you hit that DRS zone. It's a long, long back straight. Expect to see most overtaking happen on this bit of the track before we head to another heavy braking zone here into what is the end of the second section.
Yep, turn number 12. We expect to see quite a few moves here. Of course, end of the DRS on the lap that they have available to them. They'll get another dose as they head on towards the start of finish straight. It is a purple sector for Toppy, but of course, take that with a pinch of salt. No lap time set so far. So we'll have a quick check once our drivers have completed their opening runs. It is the race clutch driver, Lillian, that has decided to go slightly off pace. They're only heading into turn number 1 roundabout now, so we will have 19 times onto the board very quickly. We'll have to wait probably about a minute until we see your 20.
So here comes Toppe round the final corner now. What is the banker lap going to be? It's going to be a 29.7, and that is the banker lap on the board. Let's see if people can beat it. Harvey goes second fastest there with a 30.0. Liam Stevens, 29.8. Leo Lund, 29.7. Rishi goes 29.8 as lap times are just flying in. Now Seidman goes third fastest there. Ben Marples goes fourth. Nelson then replaces him on fourth. And Jan goes on to provisional pole with a 29.5 there. Fastest lap of the session so far. Daniel goes 9th fastest. Sixton 11th fastest. Gregory in 12th. I believe Liam Stevens jumped up to 8th fastest there. Felipe in 15th. All the lap times are going very quickly here, TK.
Yep, certainly are indeed. Lucas Rapassa, of course, quite known in the PlayStation scene here in PSGL, making his second appearance in the PC side, obviously starting off in F2, and so far only 9th on the board. But can we just appreciate how close this grid is? There is less than a second between 1st and 15th at the moment.
There certainly is. It's Lillian going around the final corner now in what is their kick Sauber. One final corner to go. What is Lillian going to do on their lap time? Crosses the line now. Goes second fastest, 29.7. But 2/10 back on Jan. That is quite the incredible lap time from Mr. Jan there in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, great opening first lap for themselves. They're about, as you said, a 10.5 clear from any other driver at the moment. A considerable number in the 0.7s and the 0.8s, looking all the way down to P9, actually. So the Aston Martin must have got an almighty lap in this opening run.
They certainly did, and of course, they are making their way back to pit lane. A few drivers did not set their lap times, actually. Camille invalidated their lap, so they're coming to the pits. Kian Gordendorp, Riccardo Benzoni and Liam Angelo did not set their lap times in that part of the session.
Yeah, ignore what it says for the driver down in P19. That is still Angelo D'Ortenzio. There is another... They've added someone else's name around their name. That's my understanding of it, at least. So it is Angelo D'Ortenzio. I'm going to assume I pronounced that wrong as well. But yeah, Liam Bragg is
Angelo from F3 last year.
Yeah, it's the person. It's the lovely driver that we had in F3 last year.
Cool. So it's Angelo. I'll make sure to call him Angelo, not Liam.
Well, we've got 3 drivers out on outlaps at the moment, so that is Kian, Riccardo, and Angelo as well. Camille must have invalidated their opening run and has decided not to come out quite yet.
Yeah, they've just come back into the pit lanes, actually. I think they're just getting wheeled in right now, so they're taking their time to get back in. Lillian's not even back to the pits yet. They're just going through the final sector now. So they're going to have to, they're obviously going to be out of sync with the rest of the field. Riccardo Benzoni just going for the start of his lap now as he runs down towards, as you call it, Big Red into turn 1. It's such an uphill braking zone. You can actually brake a lot later into the corner because the track itself slows you down.
Yeah, it's one of those corners as well that you can really easily misjudge when it comes to how much downforce you're going to get through the corner. As you crest the hill, that downforce, especially mechanical downforce, really starts to lift from the car. And you're relying so much on aero grip that you won't necessarily have through such a slow speed corner. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it certainly was. But Benzoni goes nicely through that first sector. Maybe leaving a little bit of margin there, because obviously he just wants to get a lap time on the board. But here we go, now down the DRS straight. One of the longest DRS straights. It's such a long straight, and obviously if you are without that, if you're running too much downforce, you're going to get caught no matter what happens. But DRS into the braking zone. Once again, a late braking zone. You can apex rather late onto the corner and then get the acceleration out. Hit that middle sector. Got a 1:08 in the middle sector for a very tricky final sector here. Couple of corners come at you very quickly. Got to get the car turned in nicely for one final long right-hander. Keep it nice and flat to the floor. Maybe a little bit of a lift, but no lift from Riccardo Benzoni before you flick it back to the left. Careful not to invalidate on the right-hand side, or always invalidate on the inside. Too much there on the inside, TK, and that is when the circuit bites back on you.
It certainly is. Just misjudging that penultimate corner there. And really unfortunate for the Haas car. Connor in chat. Good lap from Lillian in a car that's 0.3 of a second slower, allegedly. Well, if that is indeed the case, that could make the explanation that the Kick Sauber is faster in an overall sense.
Well, you say that, but Angelo's just gone second fastest with a 29.6. Very nice lap from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, fantastic lap for Angelo there, really stamping their name on the F2 scene. Good opening run as well. Second row of the grid essentially in the opening round, and we'll be looking to try and get some more points like we saw in their fantastic, well, at least the opening half of the F3 season last season out.
Yeah, still finished, I believe, third in the overall standings, even though they competed in only half of the season.
Yeah, it's an almighty achievement for themselves, and I think looking forward to the future, they'll be hoping to maybe try and get some more points out of F2. Who knows, it might even be an F2 championship in the running for Angelo.
Well, it certainly could be. I mean, it's very, very early days. Yeah, very early days. It's only the second round of the season. But of course, unlike in real Formula 1 nowadays, you don't really have as many rounds. Like, it's what, 12 rounds, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think that is the case, of course. Yeah, not many rounds for our drivers to try and contend with. And it's one you've got to really keep an eye out for. Angelo, of course, invalidating their in-lap there. And they have got a Red Bull behind them, but it won't be too much concern as ghosting completely on in these qualifying sessions.
Yeah, that won't matter too much. Now, Sixten Lindhardt, of course, F3 champion going into this season. Currently down in 15th place, but it's going to take them time to adapt to get faster. Sixten's never been the man to get really good pole position lap times in qualifying.
Yeah, exactly. They've never necessarily been one of the drivers up on the top tier or up at the front row, but when it comes to consistency, that is where Sixten really comes into a world of their own. They will not, consistently end up on the podium, even within the higher point scoring positions, and that ultimately is what won them the championship.
Yeah, let's not forget, he is the only driver in PCF1 history, or PCF3 history, to win the title without taking a win.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. I think we've seen it done in PlayStation before, but not necessarily on the PC side. So that just adds another layer of complexity to what was an almighty championship.
Certainly was. And I believe Leo Lund's just jumped into third place there. So that was Seisman jumps into fourth in the McLaren, 1:29.692.
Yeah, fantastic lap from the McLaren, just pipping out their teammate by about 2.5 tenths of a second. Their Marples has got some work to do if they want to try and be the top McLaren here at COTA.
Yeah, with 7 minutes left on the session, still a long way to go in this qualifying session. It's still anyone's game. Riccardo Benzoni still yet to put a lap time on the board, but he's going for it now, TK. Let's join him halfway through his lap, see if he can finally get this lap time on the board. Yeah,
I'll be hoping to try and get this almost as quick as he possibly can. He'll want 2 runs at this. He won't want to try and waste another set of tyres going for an invalidated lap. He invalidated at the penultimate corner last time around, so he's got a little bit of leeway before he finds himself there on this long run down towards turn number 12.
Yeah, certainly nicely done. Doesn't invalidate there on the outside. Very late on the brakes. 1:0.4 in that middle sector. So he is improving every time he does his lap. But of course, you actually want to get your lap on the board. So Mr. Benzoni now coming through the final sector. This is where he invalidated last time. He's going to keep it flat to the floor. Don't let off the accelerator using that ERS. Now flick it left. Will he invalidate? Will he keep it clean? Keeps it nice and clean on that occasion. One final corner to go. Can he get himself on the board? And where, most importantly, can he get himself up there? Riccardo Benzoni crosses the line and he goes onto the front row.
Wow, almighty lap there from Riccardo, showing when it absolutely matters he can pull out a stonker of a lap. And if we just pull up the delta between the laps, 18 thousandths of a second between himself and Jan up in P1. So front row start, or not for much longer. Lillian up there with a 1:29.5, 5 thousandths quicker than Jan could do on their opening runs.
Very nice there from Lillian. We have a new provisional pole sitter here with 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Get your predictions in chat, everyone, on who you think is going to take that pole position here at COTA. As we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, the first and second places here at COTA have won every race in its Grand Prix history.
They haven't won every single race, they just won equal amounts.
Yes.
I think that's worth just pointing out. But we continue through, 5 minutes left on this qualifying clock here in Kota at the moment. It is the Kick Sauber of Lillian that tops our timing sheet. 1:29.579 for the Kick Sauber to try and contend with Aston Martin of Jan, I believe, heading in towards the pit lane after invalidating one of their runs. They've got just over 4 and a bit minutes to try and complete another if they do wish to start from the top step of that podium. The other Kick Sauber of Daniel making their way through the final corner into the pit lane as well. So it looks like this second round of runs is starting to come to an end.
Certainly is. Sixton just going through the middle sector there, TK. And he's purple middle sector here. Now take that with a pinch of salt, of course. But he is looking pretty rapid with a lot of ERS to play with in this final sector.
Yep, certainly is. Let's keep an eye on him as he heads through turns 16, 17, 18 in towards the 2 final corners. 19 and 20, 2 tight left-handers.
He's in.
He is in. He's called it a day on this lap.
I think he knows he can go faster now. He wants that fresh set of tyres for the final run.
I think that's a sensible decision from Sixton there. Potentially even his engineer making the call at the final moment of asking. We saw that, I think, with Max Verstappen very similarly last time, not this year, last year out in Kota, pulling his driver in right at the last second because they weren't going to have enough fuel to make it round a lap. But maybe now, speaking of tyres, 3.5 minutes to go. You want that prime opportunity to give it your all on the final run.
Ben Marple's just set a lap time, which is a 29.666, which is the same as Leo Lund in 7th place, which means that they have the exact same lap time. But because Leo set his lap time first, that is why he's ahead of Marple's. Yeah,
very true. Luca Rapassa as well, going up to P2 with an almighty lap for the Mercedes driver, 1:29.583. So already re-announcing their entry to the PC scene. I think this is a driver definitely to keep your eye on over the next few seasons if the pace they've shown in the the last couple of seasons is going to be true.
Yeah, and that will probably be the end of their session, won't it? Because they don't have enough time to get back to the pits.
I think they might just have enough time, but it doesn't look like they're going full throttle, at least on this lap. So they'll be tight for time. I never say never, because we have seen it done with the finest of margins, especially in PCF3 and PCF2. So who knows what can happen? It will be close, but I'm not ruling it out completely.
I think they've just run out of fuel. I believe they've run out of fuel according to that dash.
Does look like it, yeah. I'm hearing that engine rev, but nowhere near what you'd like to see. Ben Marple's invalidating their run. It looks like they're going to charge the battery and go again. Nope, they're going into the pit lane. They are surely done.
That's surely the end of Ben Marple's session. As Nelson also ends his qualifying session in the pits. We're going to see who else is coming. Is Lillian coming out again? Lillian yet to emerge. Yeah, they go. Just coming out the pit lane now is Lillian. Just keeping an eye on Luke here. Luke has recharged. He might be going for another lap. He's got enough fuel.
That could explain why they were charging us into the pit
lane. That's him. So Luca out of the session. He's on the front row as it stands.
And there we go. Retirement as to be expected from Luca. So 2 drivers, early retirements here, early showers for themselves. We've got 18 remaining that will be trying to pip out with top spot. I don't think Ben Marple's will have enough time to go again, so I'm going to assume 8th place is the best that McLaren is going to be able to achieve on this qualifying session. But we will be led by a Ferrari and end with a Ferrari in this qualifying.
Well, Camille will go first. Camille right now in 15th place. The Ferrari's 15th and 17th. They'll be wanting to improve up the timesheets here. As of course we saw in real life, a Ferrari 1-2. Well, that's what I remember happening anyway. As we go into turn 1, as Camille takes Big Red very nicely indeed, as we go towards the Maggots and Beckett-esque section of Kota here. Such a fantastic section of racetrack. So far, so flowing. The drivers are going to be fully committed to get the most out of the lap time. Just careful on the track limits as we raise uphill once again, using as much of the circuit as you dare before getting the power on again as we head downhill.
Certainly is. You have to use the track limits sometimes more as a suggestion, especially through those turns 5 through 9, because you have to be right on the white lines if you want to extract as much lap time as you possibly can out of the twists and turns here at Kota. Now, though, it's all about straight line speed down towards turn number 12, rear wing open for Camille, down into the heavy braking zone, tight left-hander to try and contend with, in towards 13 and 14, the double right-hander, and it is a purple middle sector.
56 thousandths up in that middle sector, but because of how close the grid is, it probably is a purple middle sector. As you say, the session is over. These are the lap times that will count. Camille through the final sector now. Here we go. Completely committed in that Ferrari. A little bit of recharge going on before hitting the left-hander. Got to keep it in track limit, and they certainly do, right on the limit. One final corner to go. See what lap time you've pulled as you put the foot to the floor. You cross the line. It's 11th fastest for Camille, as lap times are going to be coming fast as Sismans goes third fastest, but Riccardo Benzoni is on provisional pole as it stands. Who can deny them pole position? Philippe goes 13th fastest. As we keep an eye on the rest of the drivers, who's just improved there. Harvey goes into 12th. Kian Gordendorp goes on to provisional pole. Jan, can't deny him, only second fastest. We're keeping an eye on Lillian, who's coming through the middle sector, and it's a 10th up at the moment in their kick Sauber. One final section to go. Is there anyone else that can deny that pole position? Here comes Angelo. Angelo across the line, can only go third fastest. It's down to Lillian now. Can Lillian deny Kian Gordendorp pole position here at the Circuit of the Americas? Round the final corner it goes. No, it's only third fastest. That's all they could do. So Kian Gordendorp is on pole position unless Daniel can deny him. Daniel crosses the line, only 17th. Christian went wide, which means Kian Gordendorp's on pole for the Circuit of the Americas.
Fantastic lap from themselves there. Luca not quite able to pip him out at the final time of asking. Neither was the kick Sauber of Lillian. Jan starting on the front row after an almighty first lap from the Aston Martin, but not quite good enough to pip out Kian Gordendorp. 33 thousandths of a second slower to be exact. Angelo D'Antenzio in P4, Riccardo P5, P6 is Seisman, Luca, Nelson, Tope and Leo Lund are your top 10. And then Ben Marples, Daniel, Harvey Cohen, Gregory, Liam, Camille, Daniel, Felipe Souza, Rashaan Jacobs and Sixten Lintart are how your drivers line up in the next few moments.
Decorate the top 20. Mental stuff that. So we are going to have a quick lobby restart. But while we have a lobby restart, TK, you know what would make people go even faster?
What's that, Alex?
Well, they could get themselves a lovely GT.
Well, welcome back, and well, what a qualifying session we have just been treated to in our first outing here in PCF2. Alex, what are your thoughts, and what do you think is in store for us when we go racing?
Well, we know what the Circuit of America is like. Overtaking is very easy around this circuit. Of course, turn one, the long DRS straight into the hairpin. I've seen overtakes around this circuit in literally every place. I expect a hard-fought battle from the first lap to the last lap, but something we should pay attention to as well. Tyre wear can be a killer around this circuit.
It certainly can be. It's one that you really have to keep an eye out for, especially when it comes to the soft tyre. You've got to just run and see how they hold up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the hard tyre in use even for a very long stint. We saw some alternate strategies quite often out when we did F3 last season. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of drivers want to start on the hard tyre and try and take them long.
Yeah, I would expect that as well. I mean, the hard tyre we know in this year's game does go a long distance. I mean, I've taken hard tyres from the start to the end of a Grand Prix before. It is possible to do it. So I expect to see the hard tyres, maybe stick on a set of mediums towards the end of the Grand Prix. Safety cars are possible as well. I don't know if red flags are, but I definitely know safety cars are possible. So we're going to see how that all goes down. And we are just waiting for the end of this session here. so we can get into the next qualifying session. You've actually left the session, TK, by mistake. I don't know if you.
I managed to rejoin. Don't worry. I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot that they all just retire, but it was taking a while. As I'm going to call him out. Harvey Cohen's decided to go out and do a lap before retiring. So
I like
hopefully
to call him out. He's not the only one that did it.
he's
There
the
was
only one
3
I
others.
saw. That's all I'm saying. I came back and he's the only one still on a lap.
There was 3 others that did it, but it's fine. It's all good. But yeah, we're going to go into the main race shortly. We're just going to sort out the grid. So we should point out as well, I believe it's still dynamic weather when we go into the race. And Kota, if you watched PCF1 last week, you would know it did rain in PCF1 last week. I believe it was rain for most of the race, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're absolutely right. It was let's just say a mix of conditions for a considerable amount of the session. So who knows what we're about to see here this afternoon? But we will have a considerable amount of time now for the grid to be sorted, everything work itself out, and let us know in chat who you're rooting for. We are reading it, we are keeping an eye on it as well. So who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to get the first track limits penalty?
Oh, that's a good thing. 16 Linhart.
It's a bold call. I'm going to go Ben Marples.
Ben Marples is a good shout as well. I mean, that's a good shout. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a cracking race. I can't see it being anything but a cracking race. I'm just looking forward to just getting into it now because obviously we were here in F3 last year. I actually, you know what? I'm going to do my emotional X Factor backstory. Started in F6 or F5 with Josh. Then I was moved up to F4, I believe. Then I was in F3 with you, and then straight into F2 afterwards. I mean, it's been a long climb up there. And TK, tell us your emotional X Factor backstory.
Yeah,
How you got here
my
to...
emotional X Factor backstory here at PSGL. I came in straight to F3, did 4 races, got asked to cover F1. Have done 3 appearances in F1. I've got another one next week out, which I'm so thankful for the opportunities. And now I'm in F2 with yourself, doing that full time. I'm really looking forward to it. I love all these guys. The racing is what makes this possible.
Yeah, it's the race that makes it possible, and of course, you guys in chat watching makes this possible. With that, if you guys didn't watch this, it'd just be two people just chatting at a screen. We can do that anywhere, and
We have done that anyway.
We did it last week when we were watching the real F1. It did happen, or that's what I remember happening. But we're going to get into the race shortly. I believe the grid is just getting sorted out right now. So everyone get your predictions in chat on who you think is going to pick up the win here this afternoon. If we have a quick look at the standings before we go into the main race, we can remind everyone what happened last week in Australia. If you were not here, I can tell you that your winner last week was Tope in the Williams. Picked up 16 points here at Albert Park. Nelson in the other Williams finished in 12th place. Finished in second place with 12 points, and Angelo finished in third place with 11 points. And just having a look at the other guys that scored points, Ben Marples just sneaking in there to the top 10. Keep an eye on where our F3 champion finished, Sixth Linhart. He DNF'd in the opening round.
He did. It wasn't the best race out for him in Australia. Actually, if you add it all up, there was 5 DNFs last time out in Australia. So probably wasn't the best a race for a few of our drivers, but who knows? As we say in pretty much every season, it is a long season. There are multiple opportunities to score points. You win some, you lose some. I think for some of our drivers, it is a better start than others.
Yeah, I think certainly so. But I'm very much looking forward to getting into this race. We are just sorting out the final little bits here, and then we're going to get started, ladies and gentlemen. So very happy to be here, very excited to be here, supporting my favourite football team, Borussia Dortmund. I believe, TK, you've also got a Borussia Dortmund team.
I have. I don't know how we can see it on stream. My daughter. We were in Germany. That's probably worth talking about why we weren't here last week.
Yeah, we were in Germany for the ADAC sim racing event.
Sim Racing Expo. And it was good fun. We enjoyed it, and it was just awesome, good fun. But now we're back, serious at PSGL, and that is we were going to do it last week, but we were both in a
hotel room somewhere. So it was kind of
Separately,
difficult.
separate hotel
Separately,
rooms.
yeah. Should point that out. It was separate hotel rooms at the place, so it was all good. But anyway, we're going into the race now. We're getting started.
We are indeed. Countdown is on for our drivers and in the lobby. We will be cross to them in just a brief moment in time. The liveries are back, and I am so glad they are. We've got a few laps of racing, quite a few laps of racing to try and contend with. My maths is not working with me this afternoon. Everyone in chat can fill in how many laps our drivers are going to do until it comes up on our screen. That'd be much appreciated.
28.
Thank you.
28 laps, I believe.
So there we go. Final call for our drivers. Well, final call for yourselves in chat. Let us know who you are rooting for. I know everybody is probably making their way across right now from F3. I think that's probably just about to finish or has just finished. So if you are just coming in, welcome. Qualifying was amazing. We're about to head into the race.
We certainly are. We are getting prepared for the Grand Prix here. And it's a very sunny day here at the Circuit of the Americas. As you'd expect from Texas. Very hot. The track is going to definitely wear the tyres. It's so nice to see the pit lane with all the names of the drivers on it. We know where they're going to be pitting now, and we know there's going to be no problems with double stacks, which is what we want to see.
Well, you say there's going to be no issues with double stacks, but I think there might still be issues with double stacks because drivers might not have anticipated that their teammate might be heading in. Who knows? This teammate strategy call might not necessarily go everybody's way. Bert Mylander sat at the end of the pit lane. We saw him last night in a PCF1 qualifying, making another appearance during a qualifying session, which we absolutely love to see. But 28 laps of racing will be coming our way very, very shortly. You said it's sunny, but there is certainly a cloud amongst our skies here, Alex.
Yeah, there is a couple of clouds in the sky. Don't know how much that's going to affect the drivers, but we're going to see how this all goes down. They're just getting their setups ready to go as we prepare for the thing. Here we go. 5 red lights are coming on here as it's 4, 5, and we're underway for the start of the Grand Prix. It's a good start from our pole sitter, Kian Gordon. Obviously races down towards turn 1. Lillian trying to challenge Jan into turn 1. Down the inside goes Sims on the McLaren as he tries to make up places, but it's Kian Gordon who leads from Jan, Lillian, Simmons, and Angelo. Is being tested by Riccardo Benzoni there on the outside, but can't seem to make any inroads as everyone's made it through the first couple of corners in one piece.
Yep, they have indeed. Kian still leads from Jan. There's a battle further back. Now Nathan Alves and Ben Marple's going wheel to wheel here as the McLaren trying to go down the inside, now around the outside of the Williams. The Williams pushing him off the track, and I think that's fair game considering what we saw in Coach in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is pushing wide and pushing forward as the Red Bull there of Gregory tries to go down the inside of Ben Marples, but is caught. Caught slightly by Leo Lund there as we race down towards the first heavy braking zone. No DRS, of course, open as we go into the braking zone. No one making any moves up behind, or is there? Down the inside goes Gregory on Leo. They do come together, but I think they both made it through the first couple of corners okay. But Daniel now trying to go up the inside.
Yep, so far so good for our drivers. The battle outside the top 10 is really starting to spice up. Daniel trying to go around the outside of the Red Bull racing car, unsuccessful there as they headed in towards turn number 15. But so far, the status quo has been resolved.
Yeah, Kian leads from Jan, from Lillian. DRS is going to open up as we are now getting underway for the start of this Grand Prix. It's been a thrilling opening lap here on lap 2 of 28. And as we can see, Angelo looked, well, sorry, that was Luca looked for a move down the inside of Riccardo Benzoni. But we're going to see a lot of line of stern here at the start of the race. I say that as Daniel has made a move there on Daniel into turn 1. The two Daniels battling into the first corner.
Yeah, they attempted it. They weren't quite going to work out. The Scuderia just had to back out into turn number 1. They had the inside line, but I think they didn't have the confidence to match it. Interesting to note, everybody apart from Felipe Souza starting on the hard tyre. It is the V-carb that starts on the medium.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I haven't actually seen the tyres yet because I was just so used to not having it on. But yeah, so all hards apart from Philippe, who is on the mediums. I don't know if that's really working out for him at the start of this race. I expect him to make a lot more positions, but those hard tyres have fired up very well at the start of this Grand Prix.
Well, he's already up 3 positions, of course, starting down in P18. I think there is many more to come once he also gets some heat in towards his tyres. He's trying to make a move on Rishan Jacobs there. Trying to defend, from the Aston Martin as Camille and Liam Stevens having a battle further back as well. It's the Alpine and the Ferrari side by side. Ferrari down the inside, turn number 15 once again. A lovely overtaking move for the Scuderia. They come together, wheel to wheel. The Alpine with the inside line comes out on top though.
Certainly does, but yeah, Kian still leads it, even without DRS. It's easily defending from Jan, but I reckon Jan's not making that move stick. They're probably all sitting on very similar ERS levels. They're all just taking their time here at the start of this Grand Prix. They are all within DRS of each other. As I say that, as it looks Poppy might consider a move round the outside of Luca into turn 1. We don't see this very often, round the outside, because especially on the exit, it's impossible to make that move into the Maggotts and Beckett's-like section.
Yeah, they thought about it for half a second. They didn't necessarily have the traction out of the corner to be able to make it stick, but it is a word of warning there for Lucas Rapassa, as Toppy has tried it at least once. Maybe they'll go for it again.
Yeah, I mean, they might go for it once more, but they could go down the inside on this occasion. It depends, really, what is the best place to make that move stick. I mean, right now, it's really anyone's game. As Toppy goes down the inside, oh, we've waited a bit late on the brakes there, but now, with DRS, has put Luca out of position, and Toppy really wants to get the move on here. Obviously, of course, race winner last time out is going to go for it here on Luca. Luca defends the inside line. Toppy's going to be forced to go around the outside, but not enough straight line speed to make that move stick.
No, beautiful bit of defending there from the Mercedes car. Just held the absolute middle of the track, and as they headed in towards turn number 12, just returning back to that outside line. Textbook defence. They're down the inside, though. Goes the Williams car, trying to nudge the space through Lucas Rapassa, who now hold the outside line, but the Mercedes still defending well, and just closing the door once again.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing very well in terms of defending right now, but all this defending is dropping them further back to the back, TK. They do not want to lose DRS here.
Well, I think Toppy will be kind of hoping that Lucas Rapassa does lose DRS, because it will mean an easy overtake for themselves, but it'll harm them in the long run, of course, and they won't be able to catch up to the front runners. I'm going to keep an eye on this battle as we continue through this Grand Prix. That's 4 of 28 already, as Ben Marples and Leland having a good battle. Marples up past the V-car.
Yeah, making those moves early on here in the race, but such a fascinating race already. The two Williams right up behind each other here, TK. Are we going to see any problems with these two?
Depends if they're going to try and account some team orders into the factor. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them working together to try and challenge the two Mercedes that stand in front of them. Of course, Angelo up in P5 as Lucas Rapassa down in P7, separated by the Haas of Riccardo Benzoni, but there has been a partial change. I think a little bit of netcode as Jan and Lillian just switching positions temporarily on our timing tower.
Yeah, I think they've actually made that move stick. I believe they got past them as Harvey gets into 17th place ahead of Liam Stevens there. But yeah, Kian still leads. It's now from Jan, from Lillian, your top 3.
I think everyone's playing the patient game here. They know what the tyres are doing. They're going to wait this out maybe till we see even pit stops and then the softer or the medium tyres coming on. At the moment, the game is not being played. No one wants to lead this Grand Prix here, Alex.
Yeah, they really are just sort of taking it step by step. I mean, you're leading the Grand Prix, you don't have DRS. That is the main factor, of course. So, I mean, it's just what it is. At the moment, they're all sticking line astern. Or are we going to see Jan go for it here in turn 1? He might actually go for it here into Big Red, down the inside, doesn't go for it, but Lillian goes for it from a long way back. And we're going to wheel-to-wheel moment between our top 3 here as they go wheel-to-wheel towards the Maggotts and Beckett section of the racetrack. Lillian's got almost such a good run, almost went to Kian Gordonville, but Lillian back up into 2nd place. Yeah,
beautiful move there from the Kick Sauber driver, just holding it through the opening a few corners, and it is the Kick Sauber, that beautiful highlighter green, that finds himself up in P2. But interestingly enough, they didn't want to send it up on Kian in P1.
No, didn't want to go for it just yet. I don't think it was the right time. You've got a DRS straight here. You don't want to risk your car going into that Maggotts and Beckett section. And yeah, it's looking good. But Lillian's going to go for it here, down the main straight, using a little bit of ERS. Is Kian going to defend it? Kian pulls to the inside, but there's nothing you can do when Jan's coming through as well. DRS is way too powerful, but Kian brakes later and tries to make that move stick. We've seen that one before. Oh, a little bit of tap there from Lillian. May have cost Kian a couple of seconds, but didn't cost him too much there.
Yeah, beautiful bit of attacking, beautiful bit of defending as well, and it is the Kicksauber that decides to get on with this race. There's a battle further back though, as Angelo and Seisman getting involved in amongst with each other. McLaren and Mercedes, once into union in one team, now separated of course for the past few years, and it is Angelo just losing out in this battle down in P5.
Yeah, just losing out there to the McLaren of Seisman there in fourth. Just still chasing this pack. There's a little bit of a split in the pack, but everyone is still within DRS as we go in towards turn one. And Seisman just chasing the back of Jan here. But still, everyone line astern. No one making any dramatic moves so far, apart from Lillian, who took the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be like this, I have a feeling, for at least the next few laps. Everybody just making their way through, potentially charging some of the ERS as well, just making sure they're at the peak opportunity, because when those pit stops do start to come, well, the question will be, how powerful is that undercut going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure, like, I don't remember how powerful the undercut is around here, but I think it's quite good.
Yeah, the undercut's been very, very powerful overall in F1 24. We've seen it after season 37 into season 38. I wonder if there's going to be any change of moves here down into turn number 12. The Aston Martin thought about it for a moment. It's a dive down the inside from Toppy, very late on the brakes, trying to get past Lucas Rapasa. I think it's a little bit of a lock-up, force them back though.
It's cost Nelson some time as well. Nelson trying to defend there. Ben Marples going down the inside. Oh, his Seisman's gone for a dive, and so is Ben Marples. And now Leo Lund's getting involved here. We've got a three-wide battle going into this final sector. They're costing themselves all the time in the world here, TK. And Riccardo Benzoni is now attacking Angelo because Seisman made a mistake trying to overtake Jan.
Yep, at the moment it's not going their way. Angelo and Lucas as well, they're both Mercedes teammates getting involved. Leo Lund's getting past or holding firm from Gregory down in P12. Then almost three wide here as we make our way up to turn number one again. It's going to be Kicksauber Rebel. Ferrari getting involved as well. Ferrari down the inside for Gregory. Daniel round the outside trying to hold the position. They're going to do so.
They wheel to wheel, but just defending it there. It's Luca, I believe, still holding on to that 7th place. Toppy really wants to get bars, but cannot find their way past Luca Pisa in 7th place in that Merc, really struggling to get that move completed, even with DRS, as Richan picks up the first of, I'm sure, many 3-second time penalties that will go through the whole grid.
I think someone actually called it in chat that Richan was going to get the first 3-second penalty, as he then makes contact with Harvey Cohen as well, down into turn number 11. So the Aston Martin driver really put off his game here.
Yeah, really struggling with getting that done. But there we go. Lillian now loses out P1 to Keaton Gordondale. Once again, pole first and second swapping positions here. As Seisman really trying to, well, without saying it, a bit ironic, sizing up a move here on Jan. As he goes down the inside, he's gone for it into this sector. It's so difficult to get the acceleration out of the corner. Can't make it work, but he's tried it every lap for the last couple of laps, and it's just not working, TK.
Yeah, he's not got it this time around. I think he's got to reevaluate that corner as an overtaking move. I think he's hoping to try and catch a driver out, be late on the brakes, but it just doesn't seem to be working for the McLaren driver. And yes, of course, it was Otis Lawrence that actually got that 3-second prediction right. So congratulations to the Aston Martin driver. It's a little bit of a downfall for your fellow teammate Conrad, though.
But maybe hoping and praying. Had a bet on it. That's what it is. But we're on lap 8 of 28. Still 20 laps to go here in this race, DK. And I mean, we've already had some cracking action so far. Jan is right up the gearbox here of Lillian going through this first sector.
Yeah, there's definitely confidence in amongst that Aston Martin at the moment through the twists and turns of this opening sector through turn number 10. They're about to run down towards turn number 11. They will get the DRS active once they crest that corner, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move for the Aston Martin here.
Yep, are they going to go for it into the heavy braking zone of the DRS straight? Surely Lillian's going to get a good run, but the double slipstream effect that Jan is going to get might have the opportunity to make 2 moves in one. Are we going to see a move? Lillian doesn't go for it, and Seisman thought about it, but was really blocked off into that sector. Harvey makes a move there on Philippe. Philippe really struggling to hold on to that position. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there from Jan. That could open the door for Seisman, as he's finally going to make that move stick because he's got the better line in the corner. Jan trying to hold it. They're going to go wheel to wheel. through the wrong right-hander. I've seen this go wrong a few times, but it doesn't go wrong on this occasion because Jan and Seisman hold it together. But Jan's still holding on to that third place, but really struggling, by the looks of it, on his rear tyres already.
Yeah, Seisman actually thought about the switch back there as they headed through turn 16 and 17, but it was the Aston Martin that just held the inside line for the double right-hander. And interestingly enough, Harvey Cohen with another 3-second penalty to his name.
Yep, already picking up, well, 2 to 3 second time penalties between Harvey and Rishan in 17th place and 50th place respectively, as Kean Gordondorf still leads the Grand Prix. But we've got some cracking action. Seisman really wants to jump up into that podium places, and we've got Jan still battling hard for this third place. But he does seem to be struggling on his rears already. Do you think that's just because of the following of these cars? But you'd expect the fronts to go out first.
Well, you never know. Maybe they're really being really hard on acceleration. You never know. It might be the corners that are causing them carnage, and we have seen that through the long right-hander time and time again. We're only 9 laps into 28 here, so I wouldn't be expecting the Haas to start dying out this early.
No, I really wouldn't expect that either. But here we go. He's leading, going to go straight back past Kean Gordondorf, and it's going to be an easy one, leading into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Jan has to still settle for third place. But I think Lillian locked up a bit there, going to turn 1. And down the inside, Seisman thinks about a different place to overtake now. Will they get the exit? They've got no rear grip. Little bit of rubbing is racing between themselves and Jan. And they can't make that move stick. They thought about a new place to overtake. Didn't find it and couldn't stick it. And they're still in 4th.
Yeah, they've tried it time and time again, the rear end just losing out there, and I don't think they've got the confidence to try and send it down the inside. They're getting almost desperate in this attempt to get past the Aston Martin. They've tried numerous corners, but none that actually seem to make sense in the overall grand scheme of things. I mean, surely you try and move down this turn number 12, that heavy braking zone, and outbrake your opponent.
Maybe there's just a lack of downforce there, but they made a mistake though. I think Angelo forced Seisman into braking a little bit early, and almost Angelo caught out Seisman there into turn 1, but Angelo just couldn't make it work. That was brilliant there. Watching on board from Angelo, it appears he broke early to confuse Seisman. Seisman broke later and tried to make that move on the inside. It almost worked out.
Yeah, it almost did, but unfortunately not this time around. Maybe learning from their namesake, Liam, as they make their way through this Grand Prix. We're approaching half race distance here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Felipe Sousa into the pits in the next few laps to get off a set of those mediums, go for the almightiest of undercuts and have the advantage, at least in the opening stages of the next run. But this is going to be where the Aston Martin has the advantage down into turn number 12. Is Jan going to go for a move here? He goes to the inside, switches back to the outside, but Kean's going to go down the inside. Turn number 12, the Rebel has the advantage, but it's not enough in the acceleration zone.
And Seisman's launched one around the outside. He might finally get the move stick. Is he going to go for a double? Surely not. Kean wasn't expecting that one, and Seisman's made 2 moves in 1 corner, or has he? Because Kean's gone back past him, but finally Seisman's made that move on Jan. It was a desperation round the outside, but brilliant desperation as he's finally up into the top 3.
Yep, there we go. He finally managed to get the move done down into turn number 12 with the DRS assistance. Lekomsky up into P3 within the podium opportunities at the moment. But I have a feeling Jan will want that position back as quick as he possibly can. That Aston Martin is going to put pressure on down the inside though. Goes Angelo looking for a late lunge into the opening corner.
And the Williams trying to go wheel to wheel as well as Nelson and Toppy go wheel to wheel. I mean, they are getting frustrated here in 8th and 9th. They can't make their moves either. They're going to start battling each other as Daniel right up behind Leo Lund as well. It is all still to play for. There's a little bit of a gap between 16th back, but everyone else is up in this battle. Lillian just enjoying watching this fight in their rearview mirrors at the moment, because it's still anyone's game. But Seisman has been so aggressive, but locks up a little bit there and opens the door for Jan, but can't seem to make it work. Here we go, down the back straight now. DRS is going to be wide open here as we run down the back straight. I think Jan's running a lot more straight line speed than Seisman is, because he's closing in, he's going to go around the outside. Will he go for it here? Oh, but down the inside goes Seisman. He thought about a move on Kean. He seems to be running so much more downforce, but Jan's got much better acceleration as they go wheel to wheel. They're still wheel to wheel right now. Seisman on the inside, Jan on the outside. But will he be able to make that move stick? Can he hold it around the outside? No, he can't. He can't make it stick. As Seisman closes the door, closes it rather aggressively, but very nicely and done. As Riccardo Benzoni goes round the outside of Luca into 6th place. This is such a good fight here in the mid-pack, just below the leading runners.
Yep, everybody switching positions left, right and centre. Nobody, though, and we've said this from the opening couple of laps, nobody wants to lead this Grand Prix. With how powerful the DRS has been in this year's game, no one wants to take that risk and be without it for the extremely long straight that we see here in Kota. Lillian from Kian, from Simon, from Jan are your front four still as we approach lap 14. That will be half race distance, but the Kick Sauber so far proving why they belong here in F2.
Yeah, Lillian's been so fast, so quick and consistent. I mean, I've commentated them on F3, commentated them a little bit last year as well. They are so fast, and that's the reason why they're up here in this division as we go into, once again, another heavy braking zone. But Lillian could be in trouble here down the back straight, but we're going to keep an eye on Seisman as well because he's starting to struggle here, TK. I mean, I think the lack of straight line speed is affecting this McLaren, but he's got so much acceleration in the braking zones and so much confidence to make those dives that Jan can't seem to make it past. But oh, he almost lost the rear end there. That's a huge tank slapper from Seisman as he holds on just to that third place. But my God, what a tank slapper.
Yeah, it was almost a day late and $1 short there with that move, but the McLaren's still just holding on to the podium position. It's Toppy, though, getting past Lucas Rapata, or is it because the Mercedes just managing to hold on through the first stage of acceleration and showing why they're up in P7. But at the moment, both Williams, as you said, rather stranded in amongst themselves. They're not able to try and gain moves forward. Neither are the drivers behind them able to get past that blue wall.
And Tope's got front wing damage. He's got front right end plate damage.
Interesting to call there, trying to catch that on the broadcast. There we go. Visual confirmation of the damage that is to the Williams, and Felipe Sousa into the pits as well. Lap 13 of 28, so pretty much equal on how long the tyres will go compared to the mediums and the hard tyres. Just giving maybe some additional data to some of the other drivers around it.
Of course, Leo Lund on those hard tyres in 10th place, obviously his teammates, so maybe just trying to test out, well, tell you what those hard tyres were like, but it'll be good information for the mediums. Liam Stevens picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. It's going to be one hell of an undercut from Felipe if he can pull it off.
It certainly will. He'll have the advantage, at least in the opening stages, whilst our drivers still are on the older hards. They will, of course, get the double dose of advantage when the fresh mediums are put onto their cars, especially in the later stages of this Grand Prix.
Sorry to interrupt. Jan goes down the inside and Seisman's going to go around the outside, still defending that line. They're really battling, these two, for position. I mean, proper wheel-to-wheel fights. This is what we love to see here in F2, as Angelo trying to get involved as well, and Benzoni just watching in behind. But this is a crappy battle. Sorry to interrupt there, TK.
No worries. It was a fantastic battle amongst those three, and I think it's far from over, especially as we head into this pit stop era. And I think we'll see some changes potentially, if not this lap, next lap, from the hard tyres on towards the mediums. And I'm also asking, I wonder if anyone's going to go and run onto the softs at the end.
I mean, softs are a very, very delicate tyre in this year's game. I would be very, well, hard pushed to see it, but you know, I've seen crazier things here in motorsport, and maybe soft tyres wouldn't be the craziest. But Seisman has been so impressive in this race, but so aggressive as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful balancing act that they've managed to conquer here at the moment. The McLaren has been attacking, they've been defensive, but they've also had to be attacking when being defensive. It's that beautiful art of being able to be aggressive as you're holding back the car in front. I think they found that balance absolutely right here today.
Something I should point out here, TK, is King Gordondorf, it's dropping back from Lillian. 8/10 is the gap now. I think Lillian's starting to really try and, you know, push their might a little bit and try and pull away from the pack. Or maybe these hard tyres are finally starting to fade here on lap 14.
Yeah, I think that's the question they will be asking. Is they going to be moved further back, though, for the McLaren? Are they not going to be close enough, even to the Rebel Racing car that stands in front of them? So our tyres really starting to punish some of our drivers. There's moves further back as Daniel gets past Daniel for P11 and P12 respectively. Kicks out, but going to try and fight it around the outside, but pushed wide by the Scuderia. The two drivers come together. It's the Sauber that dives down the inside. There's contact and there's front wing damage for the Kick Sauber Daniel. That is not what he would have wanted.
He's trying to go down the inside. He's outbroke himself and has hit the RB of Leo Lund, actually. Surprised Leo doesn't have a right rear puncture, but he's got definitely front wing damage there, is Daniel, sitting in 13th place right now. As into the pits goes Harvey here for the Haas team on those hard tyres. So the first hard runner into the pits. Actually, I think Risham was actually the first hard tyre as well as the pits. He went down in 80.
Yeah, we had Risham and Liam Stevens both into the pits. Now Sixton Lintar and Harvey Cohen into the pit lane on lap 15 of 28. But the battle for the lead is starting to spice up once again. Kian and Simon have caught up to the back of Lillian. I think Jan's being dragged through as well, as is Angelo and the rest of the field. And they all want to be in the top spot before they head into the pits here.
Our first driver in the top 10 picks up a 3-second time penalty. Leo Lund with 3 seconds. Now, in a normal lobby, 3 seconds wouldn't seem like too much, but in a lobby like this, where every driver is within a tenth of a second, that is a big drop in terms of points. But Lillian right now is having to do a lot of defending, but so will Kian Gondorp, because Seisman is really going to close in here, but so is Jan. It could be anyone's game going into this braking zone, but here we go. Is Kian going to go for it down the inside? Kian does go for it, but has he outbroke himself? Oh, he has certainly outbroke himself. Lillian does the switchback her dreams, and it may allow Seisman up into second as well. Kian completely outbreaking himself. He's not lost one, he's not lost two, he might lose 3 positions because Jan is going to have a run at him as well. Will he hold it around the outside? Will Jan be brave enough to fire it all the way around the outside? Is he going to be brave? Is he going to be bold? No, he backs out of it because he can't make it confirmed, but he sticks in 4th place. But that was incredible from Lillian and Seisman because Kian just completely outbroke himself.
Yeah, it was a beautiful move from themselves, almost dramatically so, and it is the Kicksauber back up into first place. Simon P2. Kian would have to wait in P3 for now. They're very fortunate, as you said, not to drop down even further with the Aston Martin and the Mercedes of Angelo chomping at the bit to try and get those positions.
That Red Bull seems to be very hard on its tyres, TK.
It certainly does. It's giving them no rest either, as Rashawn Jacobs setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, down in P17 and on a fresh set of the mediums.
Yeah, I mean, the medium tyres are the tyres to be on right now. These hards starting to struggle here on lap 16. When are these drivers going to pull the trigger and come into the pit? But are we going to see a change for the lead before that happens, TK? Because Seisman is lining up for a move. He's made his way through the grid at the moment. Will he make one final place before the pit stop phase? He's going to go for it here. He's going to pull to the inside, and Lillian may not have a chance to defend. Seisman will brake late, and he will make the move stick. He's up into first place, and Kian Gondorp considers firing around the outside of Lillian. Lillian defends as aggressively as they can. Jan's going to look around the outside. We're going to go 3 wide into this sector. It never ends well going 1 wide, but somehow they've got Angelo's come out of nowhere and climbed up to second, trying to keep an eye on all these battling as Angelo fires it around the outside. Has he made up 3 places in 1 corner? And you know what? He certainly has. He's up into second place.
Fantastic move there, and there we go. Into the pit lane is Simon and Angelo as well. Our top 4 drivers, Ricardo Benzoni and Toppy, into the pit lane as well. That releases Kian, Lillian, Jan and Lucas Rapassa now to do an extra lap and try and prevent as much of the undercut as they possibly can. But Jan and Lillian continue to fight into turn number 1.
And Luca down the inside as well. Where did that Mercedes come from, TK?
Well, he's been sitting praying at the moment. He was waiting for his teammate maybe to cause carnage, as you see a lot of shuffling about in the pits. You can see it on our timing tower on the left-hand side. But now it is up to the other Mercedes and Sixton Lintar out of the session.
F3 champion, a double DNF for the Alpines. Well, I think they were double stacking. And has it caused problems for both of them?
It has. It's actually held up Liam Stevens there. He retired in the pit box, and because the AI hadn't been released yet, Liam had to wait a good considerable 20 seconds or so.
And Luca trying to make that move there on Jan. Pulls to the outside, now pulls to the inside. Will he go for it down the inside? But Lillian goes for it down the inside and makes the move. But has Lillian now outbroke themselves? Because Kian's going to do exactly what Lillian did to them. But they're going to try and make the switchback work. But Lillian this time defends it beautifully into this final sector. I mean, this final sector has been a complete war zone for these drivers, but they have done a brilliant job navigating it. Surely we're going to see them come to the pits because they do not want to get undercut by the likes of Simon and Angelo in 10th and 11th.
Yep, I think we will see quite a few drivers into the pits. Is anybody staying out here? Let's keep an eye. I think everybody from this top 7 into the pit lane all the way down to Daniel. Yep, and am I reading this right? Leo Lund is our effective race leader.
He certainly is. If he can get in front of this pack, he leads the Grand Prix. Harvey in second and Simon in third, but he's right up behind as Leo Lund sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And is Simon going to go for it into turn one? He's going to fall to the inside. He's going to make this move stick. And he's up into second place. He can break so much later than the Haskar. And he's up into second, chasing down Leon Lund, who has that time penalty. Where has that battle of those three come out? Lillian in 7th, Lillian in 7th, and we got Jan in 12th. And where's the rest of them? I think Kian's in 10th. Jan must have been held or just caught this pack.
Yeah, it's really not what they'd like to see. The drivers that got that undercut have been so powerful in this opening stint. Leo leads from Simon from Harvey Cohen, who's come kind of out of nowhere to hold up in P3, albeit with a penalty to his name. So this could be a good opportunity for Angelo to get up not only into P3, but P2 as well.
As Jan makes up that move ahead of Daniel. But our race lead has changed, and Simon leads the Grand Prix here in Texas at the circuit of the Americas. It's a brilliant move to put himself up into the lead of the Grand Prix. So Angelo in 4th, after that brilliant move to get himself into 2nd before the pit stop phase, has really helped out his Grand Prix.
It certainly has indeed, but there's a battle forming further back. Both Red Bulls trying to get past Richard and Jacobs here, who's acting like a bit of a mobile roadblock. There's contact between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull racing car. There's a little bit of a netcode going on as well as Jan manages to make his way past. His teammate has been released to try and chase down the two Red Bulls. This could allow Lucas Rapasa dives down the inside. The other Mercedes trying to follow his mate through as well as they head into the start finish line to start lap 19 of 28. We've got 10 laps to go here, and Angelo's up in P3. His former battle mate is all the way down in P11.
Down in P11, Luca down in 11th, Jan down in 10th, Goldendorp down in 9th. Lillian only 7th and 1.6 seconds off this pack as Gregory's made a mistake, TK. He's off the circuit.
He certainly is indeed. I'm trying to catch him as he heads off into the grass and the gravel. There we go. That Red Bull rather stranded in amongst the green stuff. Fortunately, no major damage for the Red Bull racing cars. Felipe Sousa gets a 3-second penalty to add to his name as well. We saw they were going to come thick and fast here in Kota, but with 9.5 laps of racing to go, almost half the grid has one.
And here comes Leo Lund to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. He's up into 1st place, even with that 3-second time penalty. He leads here at Texas. And down the inside goes Riccardo Benzoni. He's up into 4th.
Yep, switching past his Haas teammate there, getting past Harvey Cohen, of course, with the 3-second time penalty to his name. I wonder if that's a bit of team orders going on there, allowing his teammate just to get through, trying to attack the Mercedes or the McLaren that stands in front of him. They won't be too concerned over the V-Carb that leads this Grand Prix, of course, with the 3 seconds that is hanging over Leo Lund's head. But Simon, Angelo and Riccardo are now all in with an almighty opportunity to win this race because the top 6 have an advantage with 1.5 seconds back to the Kick Sauber of Lillian.
Yeah, and it's really struggling to catch up there because Lillian cannot catch the guys in the main straight with the DRS because everyone else in front has DRS and Lillian does not. So right now, your net race leader is Simon in 2nd place with Angelo in 3rd, and then Riccardo Benzoni in 4th. The rest of the drivers in the top 6, as you've mentioned, TK, have 3-second time penalties. So right now, your top 3 is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the grid. I know that doesn't make much sense, but it does.
It all makes sense if you're an F1 nerd and you can look at all the stats, and we are all F1 nerds at heart, so we'll keep an eye on what is going to go on. Who knows, we might even see a penalty removal from the stewards. I'm fairly sure that's possible here in PSGL. So Leo Lund still within for a race win here, but with how powerful the DRS has been down this back straight, he's got to do everything to try and hold off Simon and Angelo.
Certainly does, and Angelo has been so fast, so rapid, and here we go into the first corner. Oh, is Angelo going to go for it? He didn't consider it in the first time, considered it a bit later, and it caught Leo out, and he might have made that move completely stick if he had gone for it straight away, but he's considered it, and he's held it, and he's now made it. He's up into 2nd.
Yep, well, I thought it was going to be a little bit too late there from the Mercedes driver, but on reconsideration, he decided to stick it out, and I'm so glad that he did, managing to swoop around the outside of that V-Cub car, and he's up to P2 now. He only has Simon standing in front of him, but at half a second deficit, they'll have the DRS advantage as they head up towards Big Red, turn number 1, with 8 laps of racing to go here in PSGL, PCF2.
And Lillian 1 second off this top 6 here. It's starting to close in. Jan within DRS, Kian within DRS, Luca within DRS. It is still anyone's game here as the laps come down with 8 to go, as you mentioned, and it is anyone's game. The top two currently lead with Simon and Angelo. Leo in third, Benzoni in fourth, Harvey in fifth, with Toppy in sixth. And we've got Lillian, Jan, Kian, and Luca, your top 10. 3 of those drivers have time penalties. You can see them on your screen at the moment. Get your predictions in chat on who you think is going to win this one. To be honest with you, any of the top 10 can still win this.
They certainly can. Interesting to note, though, both Williams cars that did so well out in Australia last week find themselves in P6 and P13 as we see Angelo retake the lead of the Grand Prix here away from that Papaya McLaren. The DRS becoming very strong. It's going to be a dive down the inside as well from Riccardo Benzoni on Leo Lund with the penalty hanging over their name. They have the inside, now will swing it round the outside. Can they hold it with the extra straight line speed? It's going to be questionable. Leo Lund will have to forfeit the position. And there we go, Riccardo up into the podium places.
Certainly is. The top 3 now are your top 3. No penalties to report for them. Leo, Harvey and Toppy all with 3 seconds. So Lillian, now within that DRS range, has got to pass these 3 in front to get a chance at the top 3 leading.
Yep, they will be counting down the laps every single time they cross that timing beam as we run up towards Big Red for the 22nd of 28 times. It's Angelo that leads from Simon from Riccardo. Riccardo looking to the inside. I think that was Harvey Cohen actually looking down the inside of Leo Lund for about a split second. But with both of them to penalties to their names, Lillian has got an almighty task. They've caught up and will have the DRS advantage, but they still have to get past 3 drivers with penalties if they want to be in for a chance of the race win.
Catching is one thing, passing is another. As the great Murray Walker once said, it's now Lillian's job to pass them, and the 3 in front, yes, they may have time penalties, and yes, that confirms Lillian is P4, but they don't want P4, they want the win. They've got to get past them right now.
They certainly do. It's now or never, as I'm fairly sure very few people, or quite a lot of people have said over the course of history, but Papaya versus Mercedes once again down into turn number 12. Was he going to go for a hero? Or are they just going to play the patient game like we saw in the opening stint of this Grand Prix? I wouldn't be surprised if the DRS train is reformed once again around the rails of Kota, and it is Angelo that I think, rather unfortunately in his mind, continues to lead.
Is not where they want to be. Is Lillian going to go for it down the inside? It's a tricky place to make the overtake stick. We've not seen it that much this afternoon, and once again we don't see it again. Lillian has to make those kind of dives though, because there is no other place to do it, and otherwise you're not going to get the moves completed and you're going to run out of laps.
You certainly are indeed. Into the final corner. They're not going to make a move this time around, potentially into turn number 1 with the DRS assistant, so we'll keep an eye on what that car is doing. It's still Angelo that leads, nobody wanting to go past at the moment. It is a patient game as Lillian sends one down the inside, finally of the Williams, and gets the move done. 1
done, 2 to go to get past the penalty givers, and then you've got your top 3. That is where your real fight starts. But these guys have no easy targets. They are some of the fastest drivers in PSGL have to offer. Can Lillian find their way past them though? Here we go, through the third sector. Just finishing it off here as we go towards the DRS zone. Having a great run here on Harvey. Going to go down the inside before the DRS zone. Here is Jan, goes down the inside of Toppy and also makes another move there. Jan into 7th place, and Jan's on the charge now as well.
Yeah, we got early calls in the chat saying Lillian's going to win. They're still in P5 with work to do as the Papaya McLaren gets past Angelo down into turn number 12. They've decided they now want to lead this Grand Prix, win the remaining few laps that we have to go. We enter lap 24 of 28 and the countdown will start. We've got 5 to go here, Alex.
We certainly do. 5 laps to go and 4 places for Lillian to make up. So that's what, a move a lap, as they say, as Kian goes around the outside of Toppy here into the final sector, goes into 8th place. Kian kind of got a bit screwed over by the undercut, but can still make up good places. It's down the inside goes Luca. What a move that was.
Fantastic move from Luca Rapassa. They're up to P9, well within the points-paying positions now. And they might be on a bit of a late charge here as we enter lap 24 of 28. 5 to go in this Grand Prix. And they have got a considerable number of positions to make. But I don't think they're going to get a race win. But it could be good points to bring home to Brackley.
Certainly could. And Leo very aggressively pulled to the inside there. Do you think they can get that penalty removed in their head? That maybe that's why they're defending this position?
I think you never know what is going on inside the head of an F1 driver. Maybe they're trying to defend their teammate or hold up for Felipe Sousa further back, or maybe just going for a little bit of personal glory. But at the moment, Leo Lund's holding Lillian up as much as they possibly can.
And pulls to the inside there, but down the inside goes Lillian. You can't hold Lillian for long. The DRS will now open up as Jan makes up another move there ahead of Harvey. And will Lillian be able to make this move stick? Leo going to be dropping further behind as Angelo moves up into the lead of the race. Simon going to have to defend from Riccardo Benzoni, who also wants to make that move stick. But Lillian can't make it past Leo Lund still.
Yep, they're still struggling to get past that V-car. Bastian say that they went for the switch back down the inside. They'll try and hold it around the inside now. Leo Lund with the advantage down the inside. They'll hold the V-car holding the Kick Sauber at bay.
Or will they? Because will they find a gap on the inside? It's going to be brave if they put it off. And they certainly have. Lillian up into what is 5th place. And to 4th place, as Leo had no defence for that one. And now Lillian has only got 3 drivers left to take the race win here at COTA.
Well, 3 positions, 4 laps in which to do so. If I was a betting man, Alex, I'd certainly have my money on this Kick Sauber. Leo going for it, though, down into turn number 1. Are they too late on the brakes, though?
They may have held it just on the inside. Leo says, I want this position, and Leo is going to get that position. Lillian was charging all the way down the back straight, and it's cost them because Leo sent it from absolutely nowhere and has got back up into 4th place. They want this 4th. It's for more pride than anything else, surely.
Yep, I think that is absolutely the case. Maybe even hope in the V-car's mind they can get that penalty removed. This is Jan going to go for a move on both of them down into turn number 11. What are we seeing?
And it's cost Lillian greatly here. Leo's defence of Lillian has cost them greatly down the positions. But here we go, down the back straight. We're going to see maybe a 3-wide moment as the lead of the race changes once again. Leo still defending aggressively. Kian goes down the inside. He's going to go for it for a long way back. Oh, but there's carnage in behind. Oh, it's cost them massively because Harvey and Leo have come together. Leo's places are dropping and dropping. He's down to 9th now as all the drivers with time penalties have lost places. Leo's aggressive defence of what was 5th place has ended up with him being in 10th, and it will be out of the points as it stands.
Yep, he's got to be careful. Oh, massive
it.
tank slapper there for the V-car, but Toppy tries to go round the outside. Harvey Cohen adds another 3-second penalty to their total at the end of the Grand Prix. 3 to go here in this Grand Prix, and Lillian has got all the work to do once again as the Aston Martin of Jan managed to sneak past down into turn number 11 last time around.
And they're 1.7 seconds off the top 3 here, TK. They are not going to close in with enough laps to go. I think it's down to our top 3 to win this Grand Prix.
I think you're absolutely right. Is it going to go the way of Papaya? Will it go the way of Mercedes? Will it go the way of even the Haas team here in this Grand Prix? Keep your eyes peeled, folks, because this is not going away.
It certainly isn't. As you said, 3 laps to go. And who can win this race? I think a little bit of what we like to call driver noticing there, or is a word I've just come up with, as Jan and Lillian moving their steering wheels in time with each other to prove they want to work together to win this Grand Prix. I think that is the plan right now, as Angelo into the lead with Riccardo in 2nd.
Yeah, this is where mathematics will have to come to our drivers or even their engineers as well. Calculate how many laps are left. Calculate how many dive opportunities they have left in the tank, and then calculate when they want to go for that move into the lead of the Grand Prix. That is going to be the question on the engineers' minds.
There's a 3-wide moment there as Daniel's just made a beautiful move past 2 drivers, and it's also allowed Ben Marples to make it as well. Oh, that was almost a squeeze, and it certainly was a squeeze. Leo in a Ben Marples and Harvey sandwich, and it's all going wrong for Leo Lund here.
Yeah, I wonder if that is tyres maybe starting to die off for the V-Cup. I think they went in. Well, they're actually one of the later drivers to go in, so I'm not quite sure why tyres are dropping off. They're 11 laps old, one of the first maybe compared to some of the 12 laps around them, so that could explain the tyre differential for the V-Cup.
Oh, Leo almost went for it again in turn 1. He's got front wing damage. That may be costing him time.
I think you're absolutely right. If one thing I would need to know around COTA, you need a front wing, especially through the 1st and 3rd sectors.
Well, TK, Jan has caught the back of his pack here with a lap to go. Is there a chance we're going to see a change for the Grand Prix lead? Angelo leads on the penultimate lap here on lap 27. Riccardo in 2nd and Seidman in 3rd. And then Jan is in with that DRS chance. Lillian as well, Kian as well, and Luca as well. Every one of the top 7 can still win this Grand Prix. Who's going to come away with that victory?
Well, we're about to approach the final lap. We've got 1 1/3 lap to go here in PCF2 for the second round, Texas. And it is anybody's game. As you previously said, anyone in that top 7. Could Luca Rapassa, my apologies, get up towards the top step? Or will it be one of our front 3 that may continue through? Could we see Lillian come through from setback after setback to take top spot?
Well, we're about to find out as we go round the final corner for the penultimate time. As we begin lap 28 of 28, it's Angelo who leads from Benzoni, from Simon, from Jan, from Lillian, from Kian, from Luca. It's your top 7. Everyone can still win this in the top 7. And who is going to actually win it? Let's find out as we go through the first corner for the final time.
Yep, through Big Red for the final time, in towards the first sector. It's now or never for some optimistic moves. They've got to try and get as close to the car in front as they possibly can, because the big overtaking opportunity comes famously down into turn number 12. We might see a couple of ambitious dives into Sector 3, but unlikely in the grand scheme of things. We might see carnage, chaos and catastrophe, but that is still yet to be discovered. We'll keep our eyes peeled to this battle. We've seen moves made into turn 11 as well, but I don't think this time around any of our drivers are going to send one down the inside. They know the risk that could be coming to them as the weaving starts for Angelo.
Angelo pulls to the left-hand side, but there's not really much you can do when the DRS is so powerful. Riccardo Benzoni takes the lead of the Grand Prix here at the circuit of the Americas, as Simon was late on the brakes. He's tapped the back of Angelo, and it's cost Angelo big, but it's cost Jan even bigger, because Lillian's fired it around the outside. Jan's picked up a 3-second time penalty. There's 3 wide moment here at the final sector, as Lillian still battles with Simon into 3rd, but Lillian into 3rd place, Jan down into 6th. But for Riccardo Benzoni, he's going to win this Grand Prix. Kian is still will to win with Jan as they go into the final sector. Jan's lost out massively. Everyone's lost out in that final sector, apart from Riccardo Benzoni, who wins here at COTA. Angelo in 2nd, Lillian in 3rd, Simon in 4th, Kian in 5th, Luca in 6th, and Jan finishes in 7th. What has happened there, TK, on that final lap?
I have absolutely no words to describe what we've just seen. Riccardo Benzoni coming home with a fantastic win to kick off their PCF3 season. Angelo showing what a fantastic racer they are, securing P2 over a second behind the Haas car at the end, and Lillian rounding out our podium. Simon, Kian, Lucas Rapassa and Jan finishing in that order at the end of the day. Ben Marple's coming through when he was originally outside of that top 10, up to P8 with Daniel and Nelson rounding out your top 10. We are waiting for the last 2 finishers to come across the line. They will be Gregory and Liam Stevens, who so unfortunately got held up by his teammate. Gregory steals the fastest lap at the end there. We'll keep an eye, see if the Alpine is able to do so as well, but I have to feel for Liam Stevens. It was his teammate that retired and held him up in those pit stops.
Yeah, that's cost him big, and I don't think he's going to get fastest lap now, considering he's gone very wide in that final corner. He comes around the final corner now. Will he get fastest lap on the board? No, I don't believe so. But ladies and gentlemen, that is COTA finished with. We're going to get some drivers in for interviews if they would like some, and we'll see how it all goes down in this inside the Harvey Cat Cohen gets the driver of the day. Who gets your driver of the day, TK?
I think it has to be Riccardo Benzoni. Fantastic drive from themselves. Mature drive in the later stints there. They managed to avoid a little bit of carnage and chaos, up from P5 as well. And yeah, rounding out an almighty drive for the Haas team.
Certainly does. And we'll go through your list now. So Riccardo Benzoni wins from 5th on the grid. And then we've got Angelo from 4th to 2nd. And Lillian from 3rd to 3rd. Then Simon in 4th, Kian in 5th, Luca in 6th, Jan in 7th, Ben Marples in 8th. Then we've got Daniel in 9th and Nelson in the top 10. Then we've got Daniel, Harvey, Tope, Leo, Philippe, Rishan, Camille, Gregory, Liam Stevens, and your only non-finisher, DNF, Dixon Linhart.
Wow, what a race we have just seen. Fantastic race result for the Haas driver, and of course fantastic result for our podium sitters of Angelo and Lillian as well. I'm sure we'll be able to get them in for a quick chat in a couple of moments time when they've managed to sort it all out themselves. We'll keep an eye on that waiting room, bring them in as soon as we possibly can. But Alex, I've talked about my driver of the day, and well, I want to get your opinion for yours.
My driver of the day is, well, you know what? Up until that last lap, I was going to give it to Seisman, because I mean he was very aggressive. I like, I love an aggressive driver, TK, on the track, but he just hit the back of Angelo, and it cost him not only third place, but could have cost him second.
It very much could have done, and he was very fortunate it didn't end up that way. But hey ho, we always said Texas is going to be one of those races that either ends in catastrophe or ends in a little bit of chaos, because it is going to be a DRS train for about 90% of the Grand Prix. But we are going to look ahead to next week, because that is, of course, what we're always looking forward to. We always look ahead to the future, where we head to probably one of the best tracks in the F1 calendar and in the PSGL calendar. Alex, we're going to Belgium.
Yep, it's such a fantastic circuit. It is the Spa-Francorchamps, as they say. It's such a fantastic circuit, a legendary track here in PSGL and in Formula One in general. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing our drivers race there. And unfortunately, our top three, none of them can do interviews this afternoon.
That's a shame. I think
But
should we just do the
Lillian
interviews
says
for
next
them?
time. Do interviews for yes. Hang on. I'll so let's you pretend to be who won our race? It was
Ricardo.
Ricardo. So Ricardo, talk us through your race. How was the race from your perspective?
I think it went rather well. Obviously, got the win, and looking forward to next week.
Nice. Thank you for your
That's how they
interview,
go.
Ricardo. That's how they go. That's how it usually goes. But yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, you guys again with interviews, you don't have to come in for interviews. It's just nice to have a retrospective on the race. But if you can't do it, it's not the end of the world. It's all good. There's always next time. But as you said, we are going to Spa next week. We'll be back on Thursday at 8 p.m. Of course, never forget it's 8 p.m. With myself and of course Tom. Thank you for joining me today, Tom. It's been great.
It's my pleasure, Alex. It still feels weird you calling me Tom. I mean, feel free to call me Tom or TK going forward, but no, my pleasure.
I mean, I called you TK the whole time we were in Germany, so I mean that's just what it is. But anyway, yep. Obviously, I've been Alex. He's been TK, and we'll be back next week at Spa.